Remember when a few brave doctors came out last year and used the term mass formation psychosis, and they were immediately branded as traitors and peddlers of misinformation and enemies of the state, and they needed to be silenced? Remember when that happened? And basically what they were talking about is this like gross group think that has taken hold of the world, where everything that government wants you to do, no matter how nonsensical, no matter how illogical, you had to follow. You had to fall in step and not question anything. It's a dangerous place to be. But like I said, immediately those very same powers came, like rose up, and you realize what the machine, what the beast is that we're dealing with here. Not only did you have doctors, oh, there are 270 doctors who are speaking out against Joe Rogan and misinformation, but most of them are not even real doctors to speak on such things. The real doctors were the ones who were talking about the mass formation psychosis. But the scary thing about these people, the beast, is that the beast has the ability to actually go into the dictionary and change definitions of words that previously meant something else. And so they can change the definition of vaccine. They can change the definition of effective. Yes, they actually did that. But you know what they never do? They never try to acknowledge the safety issue, right? So when you're talking about mandates and things like that, I would imagine that the main issue is safety. That's it. But they never do address that, because then they would have to address the fact that there really are some concerns that are going on out here. And I remember very, very early on, I called this whole thing a psyop. I did. And it's funny because when those doctors, when they talked about mass formation psychosis and got attacked and everything and all of this stuff, you know, all you had to do was look around and see what's going on. And the longer this goes on, the more you have proof to your own self that there's a lot of psychological damage that's being done out here. And it is affecting the reasoning of people. And so now I have an article here on CNBC that once again, ironically, points to the fact that we've all been right who have been questioning what's going on with people in the way we think through this whole thing and the way that we feel. I mean, come on, you had to know this was coming. So here's this article on CNBC. And I'm going to talk about it. This is the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I'm doing this in the morning. So, of course, you're going to hear all this and all that. Okay, bear with me. And the headline goes, last responders. Mental health damage from COVID could last a generation, professionals say, probably more than that. But it goes on to say, aside from the obvious physical impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, health professionals have told CNBC that many people are struggling with the immense emotional and societal change it has brought. What's more, they're finding it hard to adapt to a new normal now that lockdowns are starting to ease. And of course, back when this whole thing started, over every news medium you saw, every headline started with the new normal. I remember pointing that out way back then. And I remember telling my family, get your mind right. Stay steady. Don't fall into depression and despair, because this thing is going to be a roller coaster. I said that 2.5 years ago, guys. I saw it coming. Many psychologists and psychiatrists have reported an influx of people seeking mental health support during the pandemic, with an unprecedented global health crisis causing an increase in anxiety and depression, as well as exacerbating existing mental health conditions. I have never been as busy in my life, and I've never seen my colleagues as busy. I've never seen where is it? Oh, Valentine Viteri, a psychiatrist working in New York, told CNBC, I can't refer people to other people because everybody is full. Nobody's taking new patients. And this is just the people who are seeking help. All right, never mind the ones who are just walking around out here, the ones who are road raging, the ones who are line jumping, running into Walmart on Black Friday. Never mind all that stuff. You know what I mean? Not to mention the hood where people are already fucking fucked up. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying. Okay. Adding that he's also seen an influx of former employees returning to him for help. Retieri said that many of his patients are still working remotely and were isolated, with many feeling disconnected and lost, and they just have this kind of malaise. Remember, guys, I told you before, from the very beginning, once again, I observed that this thing was called social distancing. Social distancing, not safe distancing, but social. Socially, we were being separated from our families. People were dying without their families because we weren't being allowed up into hospitals with them when they were being treated, we assumed they were being treated. Who knows what was going on? Maybe they were being let go and it was being put down as a COVID death when it really wasn't. We sure were putting a lot of trust in these people who were administrators, slaves to the administration, who were slaves to the government. I'm just saying, free thinking, supposing there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. That cannot be misinformation. That's just wondering, what if Marvel has a series called What If? Maybe they should be locked up for that. You shouldn't be thinking, what if? That is really hard for me to do anything about, he said, noting, I can't make the pressures disappear. I can always treat the illness it provokes. I can always treat the illness this provokes. Woo! Now, what is that? What could that be? What could that mean? Well, to me, it says more big pharma. We can treat you. We can treat your emotional and psychological problems. I will be your knight in shining armor, coming to your emotional rescue. And then Dr. Fauci comes in and says, you will be mine, all mine. You will be mine, all mine. You will be mine. Woo! Boom, boom, boom. Yes, you will be mine. Okay, anyway, big shout out to Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones. Some of y'all know that. Numerous studies on the impact of COVID on mental health have been carried out. One study published in the Lancet Medical Journal in October looked at the global prevalence of depression and anxiety disorders in 204 countries and territories in 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. It found that mental health dramatically declined in a year with an estimated 53 million additional cases of major depressive disorders and 76 million additional cases of anxiety disorders seen globally. 53 million cases of major depressive disorders. Now you go up and look up how many people have supposedly died of COVID-19. Keeping in mind, we've already proven that those numbers are inflated. Okay, you will barely find more than about 4 or 5 million worldwide of cases where you know the numbers have been inflated versus the over 53 million additional cases of major depressive disorders, just the ones who are being reported, and 76 million additional cases of anxiety disorders seen globally. I'd say that means the cure is worse than the disease when you keep into mind all the other things that's going on. Domestic violence, children, suicide rates, all of these things, divorces. All right, I already mentioned the environmental crisis that's going on here. At what fucking point do we see that we're doing the wrong things here? I don't know. We can't see it. You know why? Because of mass formation psychosis. That's the reason why. You don't think all of these things are affecting the reasoning of these people out here? I told you that one of my friends told me when I told them about the impact of what's going on with the side effects with children and how children are developing myocarditis, pericarditis, all of these things that's going on with them. That person said to me, well, I consider that to be collateral damage. They're just keeping us safe. Mass formation psychosis. That's what it sounds like to me. All right, not being a doctor. And I know people, do you think that you're better than a doctor? Where's your credentials? You're not a doctor. Well, fuck face, that's a two-person relationship, a doctor and a patient, okay? So, I'm not a doctor, but I am a patient, and I should have something to say about what goes on with my body and my life in the world that I live in. Okay, so stop pointing me to that jackass Dr. Fauci and all of these other white coats out here. All right, I have something to say too. You have something to say too, and you best remember that. You must remember it, and you must remember it now, because as long as this thing goes on, the psychological, the emotional impact will get worse. We send our kids to school for like 8 hours a day with a mask on their face. They can't even see each other smile. Schoolyards, I remember when the lockdowns happened, schoolyards had yellow tape around them, like somebody died. You can't go into the playground because they're all taped off. You don't think this is tearing us down? You don't think that this is going to last for generations to come, what these people are doing to us? And what does it do more than anything? It makes us compliant to people who you see are not doing this themselves. How many times do you have to see pictures of politicians standing in a classroom where all of our precious, beautiful little kids are masked up? But the politicians, no, they're all bright smiles. I said on Twitter, this looks like some really bizarre ritual is what it looks like. All right, guys, so I wanted to put that out there. I wanted to just make you think. All right, wanted to express my thoughts while they're still legal to do. All right. Take control of yourself. Take control of your mind and your emotional well-being while you still can. Get in the comment section, guys. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Catch me on Twitter. Catch me on Rumble. I might have to do this one exclusively on Rumble. I'll try YouTube, but it'll be on Rumble anyway. You know, guys, thank you for everybody who's come over there, by the way. I really do appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. Thanks again, guys. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. Get the fuck out of here.